Hi, I'm Jack from Tynan Motors, and this right here is the 2015 Chrysler 300 SRT Core. This here is the bad boy of the 2015 Chrysler 300 range. It's very similar in its design to the regular model, except the aggressiveness and muscle, as you can see, it's been dialed up to 11. Overall, it's still very cohesive and smooth like the standard 300, except it does use a bit more of an angular twist in its lines. This leaves absolutely no secrets to the car's intent, especially looking at it in black. It looks very sinister and foreboding in its presence on the road. If this car were a person, it'd be the school bully. This car in particular is the SRT Core. This is the purest model, one for the drivers. Anything that increases weight or doesn't help to increase performance has been thrown out. This model comes with launch control, performance data logging, and electric steering. The SRT, which is the higher model, comes with adaptive suspension and a lot of interior luxuries, such as a fancy sound system. But trust me, you're not going to be listening to the sound system that much in a car like this anyway. Now, one thing that's definitely worth mentioning or hearing is the new exhaust note. The 2015 SRT and SRT Core sound a lot angrier and deeper than the previous model. And you don't even need to floor it and risk your license to get that sound. That's the really good thing about this car. So if I pull off from a stop and just go up to the speed limit, you can hear it right from the get-go. Nothing dangerous, nothing illegal, just spectacular sound, which makes the car an absolute pleasure to drive day to day. So, what's it like to drive? Well, it's very sure-footed for a start. You can feel that in the sport suspension and the wider tyres. The car feels very sure of itself in the way it drives. While we'll stop for a second, let's take a quick look around the interior. Firstly, we have the different seats. We have the SRT stitching. The seats are also quite supportive, especially around the sides, so if I'm cornering, I feel quite snug in the seat. And as it's been mentioned with the regular 300, everything's quite big of the American theme. The seats are quite large, as is the steering wheel, which is wrapped in new material, feels really nice. And the seats, again, I'm not a very large person, and I can fit into them quite nicely. So if you're a little more generously proportioned, fitting in this car won't be a problem at all whatsoever. And then we have the sound under acceleration. Which sounds absolutely incredible. What you're hearing there is the 6.4 litre Hemi V8. That produces 350 kilowatts and a staggering 637 newton meters. That sort of power is enough to get the SRT and the SRT Core from 0 to 100 in around about 4.5 seconds. Which is unbelievable when you think about it, because only a few years ago, that was most definitely supercar territory. And this is a 4-door family sedan. Okay, we've established this car has lots of power. But how do we get all that power to the ground? We do through Chrysler's new 8-speed automatic gearbox. I've got the flappy paddles here in case I feel like doing a bit of shifting myself or a bit of spirited driving. But it's far smoother and far more precise than the old gearbox. It knows what gear I want to be in when I do, even depending on what type of driving I'm doing. There's also the sports mode, which sharpens up the gear changes and means I have more power earlier in the rev range. All in all, it makes for a fantastic driver's car. But there's also a sport suspension, which means the car can handle bumps in the road and corner a lot easier and safer. There's also the 4-slotted Brembo brakes, which mean the car can pretty much stop on a 20-cent piece. It stops a lot earlier than most other cars. And then there's the wider tyres, 245mm. That means there's a lot more rubber in contact with the road, which again means you have a lot more grip. Now, one thing to keep in note is, once the local alternatives go out of production in 2016 and 2017, the SRT 300 and 300 Core become the only large rear-wheel drive sedans available in Australia with a V8 for under about 225 to 250k, which, considering you can have a Core for around about 60 to 65, that difference is absolutely staggering, and keeping that in mind, the decision's already made, really. So if you're looking for a fantastic family car to use during the week, as well as an absolutely awesome weekend toy for yourself, look no further than the Chrysler 300 SRT and SRT Core. This has been Jack from Tynan Motors. Why not come in and take one for a test drive? That is, if you can get me out of it.